Hi, everybody. For those of you who are in the sizzling summer makeup class, which I hope is all of you, I just did my live video in there. And so I figured while I've already got my setup and I have my makeup on and all that, I would jump in here and do our Monday mindset video. So I'll give you just a second to get some people tuned in. Say hi when you get on. Gosh, it's a lot more comfortable just talking to my team. Hi, Ashley. Oh, I feel like, whew, the stress is gone. That's a lot. That's a big group. There's 7,000 plus people in there. Awesome job. Wow. I'm so impressed by the turnout. I'm gonna add more people today. I'm inspired. I got about 60 people in there now, and it's kind of got me on this roll where I'm like, maybe I can have a couple more people in there. So I'm gonna try to reach out to another 25. I figure we can continue to add people today and tomorrow as it goes. I wouldn't suggest continuing to add people after Wednesday because that's when we're gonna be getting going with the actual demos. Thanks, Rachel. But it's appropriate, I figured before I even did that video, I planned that this week's topic was gonna be fear. And it is good that I'm doing that because that was kind of scary for me. I don't normally get nervous for these, and that was a little nerve-wracking. But it's awesome. Like, for those of you, Krista, Fiona, for those of you who are going to be speaking, it's really like seeing all those comments and having all those people in there, and it really is like a big confidence boost, and it kind of gets you pumped up. So it was fun. Awesome. Krista, you added 80 people. What's your new hello? Oh, outside. You should. Yeah, that should be your hello. Okay. I'll give it maybe another 30 seconds. I need some more coffee. I'm gonna go get some. So I decided that this week I was gonna cut out Starbucks, which is like my addiction. And so I cheated and I actually bought like the Target at home Starbucks stuff. And so I'm on like number 3. So I'm gonna go get another cup of coffee so I can be sufficiently wired, and then I'm gonna come back and talk to y'all. I'll be right back. I don't think it does any good that I actually cut out like my one latte if I'm just refilling this cup of iced coffee all day long, but I'm telling myself that, these are slow changes. They just told us that our talks at convention are going to be videotaped and then possibly made available to everyone at a later date. So it's definitely made me rethink my eating and fitness routine over the next 3 weeks as we get there. So fear. Let's talk about fear. I made some notes. I have this cover photo, and you may have seen it. I used it a couple months ago, and it says, "Fear is a liar." And I love it. I love that quote. And I used to think that being strong, not just when it comes to unique, but in all aspects of my life, meant doing away with fear. Not having fear. And that's just not true. And it's not possible to not have fear. I mean, it's in us. It's programmed. And it's a natural response to a lot of things. We fear for ourselves, we fear for our children, we fear for different milestones in our life that as they come up. And trying to not have fear is a waste of time and energy because, yeah, Ashley, I might as well just go get a coffee. It's a waste of time and energy because you're spending so much of your time trying to ignore this very real thing that's happening inside of you. And so I've tried to shift my mindset over the last year when it comes to fear of acknowledging it and accepting that it's going to happen and just doing it anyway, doing it afraid. So I went on a boating trip this week, and I went with 9 women. About half of these women are LAPD police officers. These are like tough, adventurous, crazy women. You know, they take vacations to third world countries where they're jumping out of an airplane, zip lining, like everything is go, go, go all the time. And they own a boat, and they're big into water sports. And one of the things that I have never done is wakeboarding. They're big wakeboarders. So first day I sat and watched. Second day I sat and watched. And I'm wanting to do it, but I'm scared. And the third day I was like, you know what? If I go home and I don't try this, I'm going to be so mad at myself. Because why? Because I didn't try it because I'm scared of it? Like, is it better to sit and be scared and not do anything and then go home and be upset with myself? So the third day, finally, I was like, okay, all right, I'm doing it. I'm gonna try it. So I got out there. I was like looking tough. They were teasing me. They said I looked like wakeboarding Barbie. And I got out there and I was ready and I like soaked it all in. And I did 6 times in a row. Every time I got like almost up and then face planted. Every time. 6 times in a row. I am so sore today. It like hurts to stand up. But I did it. I didn't die. It went like, what, my back's a little sore, my arms are sore. I know now I was motivated to like, okay, I'm going back out with them in a couple weeks and I'm going to get it and I will get up and I'll do it and I'll love it, or maybe I'll hate it, but I'm going to do it. And even though I felt stupid falling again and again and again and again and was not successful, I tried it and I was glad. And it's not scary to me anymore. Now it's just frustrating because I want to be able to do it. And so I got through that. And you think about like everything in your life that's easy right now, and you can relate this to your business, you can relate it to anything in your life. Everything in your life that is easy right now was hard at one point. I just got up to go get a coffee, walk to the kitchen and come back and don't think twice about it. But when you're 12 months old, 15 months old, taking a step is the hardest thing that you can do in your life. Now we get up and take a step and we don't think twice. Everything in your life is like that. And it's going to start hard. And so if you're struggling at a point in your business, or you're struggling at a point in your personal life, or you're trying something new and it's hard and it's frustrating, it's good because you're getting to a point where someday that will be easy. Tracy Claire, thank you. I'm wearing palette 1. So I have the lightest color here in the brow and then under the brow, and then I have the second one, the shimmer color in the inside, and I have the darkest color for like the smoky part on the outside, and then I have majestic cream shadow, and then in the crease I actually have Scandalous blush. Thank you. And then proper liner. So, I want you to think about your own life this week and what's holding you back. And there are, and if any of you want to share, feel free to comment and share here. Yeah, perfect, Krista. Social media. Yeah, and forcing yourself, and like you force, and it doesn't feel good when you start because you're scared and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. Brooklyn and I taught at Unified in Tampa last year, and she was terrified of public speaking, and I knew that going in, and you would have never known that watching her speak. I mean, she got up and she did so great, and she was really scared, but she, felt this huge sense of accomplishment after she did it because she tackled that fear. And so I think about things in my life, and everything that I can think of when I think about my concerns about the future, when I think about, okay, how long is my business going to be successful? Or, what's my relationship situation going to look like? Or, am I always going to have this great relationship with my daughter? And it's fear. It's all fear. And a lot of it is fear about things that never actually even happen, or that we didn't need to worry about in the first place. And so, I think for this month, it's a good perspective, because I looked at, they rolled out these incentives for the month, and you have like the three pouches for the 3 parties, and then the charms for getting sponsored, and so your max is like 8, would be 8 people, or your minimum would be 8 people to get all the charms. And my first thought when they rolled it out is like, I don't know if I can get 3 parties. I don't know if I can get 8 people sponsored. Why not? Why not? Like, what is that? That's just me being afraid of taking that leap. And so, I look at, there are people doing it. There are people who have already done it. And I'm halfway there now, but it's like, there's people who have already completed it. Why? They're not any better at this than you. And they're not even less fearful. Like, Amber Voigt, who is one of the most successful people in our entire company, talks about how she is insanely introverted, really afraid to talk to people, really afraid to reach out to people, and she just does it. And that's what she says. When people ask her for advice, she says, do it scared. You're going to be scared. Do it anyway. Do it scared, because that's what I do. And so it's like, I'm looking at this person who, like, is terrified of having a conversation with someone, okay? Amber Voigt is terrified of having conversations with people. And you would never know it to see her speak. And so I think if she can conquer that, why can't any of us conquer our fears? So, I read a lot, and I read a lot of self-development books and personal development books. And there's this concept that I really liked in one of the books that I read, and it talks about I feel it's actually, it's kind of nice, like doing this Monday mindset and drinking coffee. I feel like it makes it like a little more intimate. It's nice. Austin is a great example. I mean, she's talking right now about how she's really, really scared. I can't read your whole comment because it's cutting it off on my live, but scared of having those conversations and pushing herself to speak to people. And I know that because I know Austin pretty well, and we've had a lot of conversations about that. But I would guess that 90% of the people who follow Austin with her huge social media presence have no idea that that's the case. So, one of the things I like in the reading that I've done is this concept of 2 people inside of you. 2 kind of dueling mindsets inside of you. And there's a lot of different, through... It cut me off right as I was starting to get to the good part. Sorry. Okay. There's a lot of this in literature and religion. And so I think of this, and it helps me when I'm trying to conquer stuff, is there are 2 people inside of me, and one of them is strong. And one of them is really strong and confident and unafraid. And one of them is fearful. And she doubts. And she's scared. And she doesn't know if she can accomplish certain things, and she doesn't know what's going to happen in the future. And so you have these 2 things, and instead of that strong part of you going down into the trenches to meet that part of you that's fearful, make that part of you that's fearful rise up to meet the strength that's in you. Make that strong person be the one that dictates what you do, and make the fearful person rise up and meet them. That's what got me on that wakeboard to fall 6 times. And, that's what I'm trying to use to drive me in my business. Don't go into the trenches to meet that fearful person. Make that fearful person rise up and meet you. So, okay, I have my 2 live videos down for the day, and I will leave you with that. For those of you who watch back on the replay, I would love to see some comments from you on what your fear is. And it doesn't have to be about Younique. It can be about anything. What's your fear this week? And how are you going to conquer it this week? So I saw Krista did that. I saw Austin did that. It's awesome responses. And I am looking forward to hearing from more of you. Hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you all take advantage of this makeup class. I'm just absolutely blown away by the reception that we've had. And I think that's going to be a great phone call. I didn't know that it does that. That's going to be a great way for a lot of us to get over our fears. So have a great week. If you have questions, post them in the comments, and let's hear what your fears are and what you're doing to tackle them this week. Thanks.